So I got a letter in the mail the other day. It said I was pre-approved. Pre-approved for a loan for an all-in Kickstarter pledge. Can you believe that? What's the deal with Kickstarter these days? It's getting gigantic. I mean, my neighbors think that I'm getting refrigerators delivered to my house every day. No joke, the box said Team Lift.
Chris, I don't want to intrude. I'm kind of the Seinfeld guy here in the office, and if you're going to do... Well, no, that's your mic, but can I give some constructive criticism?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What's up?
If you're going to do this, you got to really lean into it. You can't hold off. What's the deal with these people?
What's the deal with these people?
What's with the Kickstarter?
What's the deal with Kickstarter?
They're so huge.
What's the deal? What's the deal with Kickstarter these days?
What's the deal?
What's the deal? Everybody, welcome out to another Rapid Fire Roundup here on the Dice Tower. My name is Chris, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through these games that I've been playing recently that I wasn't part of the review of, starting with the game that I enjoyed the least and ending with the game that I enjoyed the most. And wow, the game that I enjoyed the most out of this chunk here of the last month or so is amazing, so you want to make sure to stick around for that. Let's get the bad out of the way. I got one bad game that I played recently. I know that this is to taste, of course, right? But the Phantom, the card game, I played through this campaign with Z. He did the review of it, and I agree with almost all of his complaints. The story doesn't do it for me. I don't know the Phantom story. I don't know the comic arc as well, or I should say at all. But the way that the story leapt from one story card to the next, it really didn't do it for me. 1 second I'm Diana trying to prove I'm as good as the boys, and I can get in the Jungle Safari military team. And the next second, I'm just murdering poachers. And as soon as the next second, I'm kidnapped with the Phantom, and we're just murdering, some henchmen, and then we win, But the card play is so restrictive; it's not good enough to supersede the story. The story is not good enough to supersede the card play, and so it just kind of sinks for me, unfortunately. I've seen a lot of people say that they really like the Phantom, and that they've liked this game, and so it could absolutely be that just having no familiarity with it, I didn't enjoy my plays at all, but that's just kind of the truth of the matter. So if you're not sure about it, I would probably steer you away from it. Next up, let's go to an okay game. This is one that I thought would be better than it ended up being, and that's First Empires. This is the new Sandcastle game. It's gorgeous. It looks great. It has great pieces. It's a small box. It does, it feels like a tiny epic game almost, where it's a lot of game kind of distilled down to some simple mechanisms in a smaller box. Unfortunately, it feels a little restricted. And I love a good mid-weight game. But the problem is that this one, at some point, I feel like I got it. I know what to do. I don't feel the need to kind of keep playing it. With 2 players, for example, one of the decisions I really disagreed with is that if you play this game 2 players, you can only play 2 of the factions out of the 5 in the box. And there's no, per their rules, right? Those are the 2 factions that you play. And I think that's so odd. I wish that I could mix and match the factions at least so that I could try the different stuff in there. I think overall this one is okay. I think a lot of people, if you enjoy the tiny epic games, you might enjoy this. The dice rolling, the little bit of mitigation, moving up these tracks for points and for bonuses. I feel like I should like this one more than I do. And I'm just not compelled to keep playing it more than I already have. But let's get to 2 good games here. Good, but not great. The first one is Hidden Leaders. I think Hidden Leaders is quite good. This one was a surprise that it was better than I expected it to be. You're just moving red or green pieces forward on this track, and it's very simple. You just play a card, and it says move green forward 1 and red back 2, or move red 3 spaces forward, or whatever. Because you have hidden objectives, but the fact that you have 2 hidden objectives on each card makes sense. Red win condition is if red is further than green. Green win condition if green is further than red, but blue is if they're next to or on the same space as each other, and black is no matter where they are relative to each other. They're just really far on the track in like the last third of it. So you're just manipulating these 2 pieces, but there's 4 different win conditions, and your secret objective card says you either want red or black victory, or maybe blue or black, or green or red. And so you're just trying to make that happen. And yet it works. It works surprisingly well. So maybe one to look into if that sounds good. This quasi, almost social deduction type card play game. And another good game, though not great, I tried the Lockup expansion. I haven't played Lockup before, and this is the newest expansion, the Breakout, digging through the tunnels. Basically, this expansion is an extra board that's just a track. It's a very thematic feeling track, but it's just a track. The further you move on it, the more points you get. Lockup is a game that I find to have taken a lot of inspiration from one of my favorite games of all time, Aladdin's Dragons, which has been out of print for so long, but is, I guess, coming back into print. Just heard the news on that recently, which I'm very excited about. This is a worker placement game where you put workers out, and they all have different strengths, and you want to have the majority in an area, and you're allowed to put some of them face down, but most of them have to be face up, so some information's visible, some is not. It's kind of a bluff, almost a hidden type of guessing. But I like that dynamic. I find that I just enjoy it more in Aladdin's Dragons. It's a little bit more straightforward, even if the mechanisms do feel older in that game, because the game's over 22 years old now. So good, not great, but I could see myself liking it a little bit more with more plays. But let's get into some great games now. Absolutely great. I'm starting early because there's a lot of great games, like I said, but the last one is so leaps and bounds, just amazing. Let's start with Dodos Riding Dinos. Dodos Riding Dinos is a battle kart racer, like Mario Kart, the board game, but this one manages to do it in a fast fashion, which I'm so impressed by. Everybody simultaneously reveals a card. In turn order, you move that number of spaces, and then you can attack each other. You can flick a banana at someone else. You can throw a meteorite at them. You can zap everybody. It really, really is a lot like Mario Kart, but unlike a lot of the other, games that try to do this, it's so fast and so enjoyable and so silly. I love the artwork. I love the pieces, the theme, the multiple boards that come in the box. It's great. I really, really recommend you look into this one if you like silly racing games. Moving along, Ticket to Ride Poland. This is Map Pack Expansion 6.5. There's a whole reason for the weird numbering of it, but basically, new Ticket to Ride map, small map. It's a little square instead of the big rectangle, and you get bonuses as you connect to the different outside edges of the board, and you get a really big bonus if you have a continuous trail of trains that connects to new countries on the outside of the Poland map, and you get these little extra cards that are worth points. I like that. The cards can be worth as much or maybe even more than the normal tickets that you score in the routes, and so I really like that. It's reminiscent of the way that the Ticket to Ride Pennsylvania map does it, which is my favorite map. This one feels a tad simpler and a little bit smaller, and so really do recommend it if you're looking for a good, smaller Ticket to Ride map, maybe a little more tension, or really good for maybe even 2 players, for example. Next up, Gutenberg. I like this game so much. It has a mix of pieces that feel deluxe, but not overbearing. It has a lot of brown, in it, and everybody jokes, oh, Chris likes really ugly brown beige games, but this game looks gorgeous because it leans into that theme just right. It has great pieces, it has great contract fulfillment where you can fulfill it at the basic level, or if you get special inks to, printing press these, you can do it a little more beautified, and so you can fulfill a contract basically, or at a little more advanced version, you get bigger payouts and benefits for it. I really like all of that. So I'm hoping with more plays, Gutenberg moves up for me because I really like it. And as much as I'm gushing about that, here's another game, First Rat. This is very different, it's less serious of a theme. You're rats trying to build a spaceship to go to the moon made of cheese with your baking soda and vinegar and your calculators. I like this game so much. You're basically just moving up a track all the way up to the top. You can reset and redo the basic actions, but the actions get stronger up top. But one of the things you can do in this game is you can move this light bulb marker further along the track, and it makes every space on and behind that light bulb stronger for you. I love that. And you're trying to get special power-ups that you're trying to almost find the broken combo. How can I make it so that when I land on a cheese space, I get like 10 cheese out of it? Exaggeration. You can move one rat, multiple spaces, or multiple rats, fewer spaces, and land on the same color. There's so many good decisions in this game. Don't overlook it because of the silly theme. I think the theme works really well for this, but it's a great strategic game, but simple enough that this could be a family game, not a kid's game, but maybe a family game. But either way, you can also play this with strategic gamers, and you'll have a lot of fun. Next up, the Guild of Merchant Explorers. wow, the Guild Merchant Explorers really surprised me how much I like it. I like this more than the other people that were in the review, actually. It feels like a roll and write game. You flip over a card and you put some cubes out on there, but you're exploring around and you can build up these castles, because at the end of a round, all of your cubes wipe off the board, but if you build the villages, the castles or whatever, you can start building out from there in the subsequent rounds. But every round you get a new special card unique to yourself. So the basic cards you flip over are like, put out 2 cubes in grassland, or 1 cube in a mountain, or 3 cubes in water, and then you unlock a special card, everybody does, that's unique to them, that's like, build in as many water spaces in a straight line as you want. Which is absurd and amazing, and it's so fun when that comes up. There's a mix of luck and good strategy in this game, and I really like it a ton. Next up, one of my favorite games ever, Caesar. This is a great 2-player, it's a sequel to Blitzkrieg. You're putting tokens out onto the map, trying to lock in, close in areas and get majority of strength in it, and you get a bonus token, and you put one of your control markers. 12 control markers wins the game. This, like Blitzkrieg, is a game that I feel like I don't love. I don't love always the close the box mechanism, and whoever closes the box gets something good. But it's not just about closing boxes. Whoever closes it gets a bonus token, but whoever has the most strength in it gets the victory point, and you get bonuses for having lots of these areas under your control next to each other, and this game is really good. I think for 2 players, I prefer the original Blitzkrieg maybe, but for solo play, I've been playing Caesar a lot solo. I really like it. I feel like it's not hard to manage. You can play through a game of this in 7, 10, 12 minutes maybe, and then just play it again. Mix up the tokens, play again. I've played this a lot over the last month or two, and part of it is because I can play it 2-3 games back to back and not get tired of it. The difficulty, you can ramp it up a bit, and I like it so much. But this is not even my favorite game this month. This has been a great month for me. My absolute favorite game has been Unlock Kids. Unlock Kids is a phenomenal little box. You come with 6 scenarios in there in 3 different settings, 2 per setting. They're so quirky, they're so fun, they do away with a lot of things that I think hold back Unlock for me. I've honestly been kind of burnt out on escape room stuff in general, but this one pulled me back in because it does away with some of the things that kind of slow it down. The fact that each scenario in this game is 20 minutes, so you can play 20 minutes and be good. Or you can kind of keep playing like my kid wanted to. I'm so proud of her. She said, why don't we just do 1 a day? Otherwise, we'll be done with it so quick. And I thought, I kind of want to play another one too, but we'll be good. We'll hold off until tomorrow. So, man, this is really addicting. I really like the way that they changed up the way that you combine things rather than combining red and blue cards. You put these little interaction tokens out and onto different spots on the cards, and they make these little symbols, and you cross-reference it. It doesn't use an app, which I'm okay with kids' family games using apps, but I know for a lot of people that is a hang-up, so you don't even have to worry about an app in this. I really recommend it. If you have a kid, 5, 6, 7 age plus or so, absolutely get this. Younger kids, right? At some point, the puzzles will be too easy for them, but the puzzles are intuitive and yet thinky and fun. Absolutely recommend this. This is one of the few kids games I would pretty much blanket recommend if you've got a kid in that age group. I don't normally talk about scores, but this game's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's perfect, absolutely perfect as a kid's game. One of my favorite probably the favorite that I've ever played. So if I am not being clear, I really recommend it. It's so good. As soon as another box of Unlocked Kids comes out, I'm going to buy it because I think it's that good. But anyway, that's my thoughts on these games recently. Thank you for coming by. Another rapid fire roundup. Let me know if these games are to your taste. Go ahead and watch the other reviews that the other people did on this channel for full reviews of those games. But until next time, my name is Chris Yee. Have yourselves a great day.